So anyway, what is all the hype around differentiation? So I'm going to explain something that we call the virtuous cycle of differentiation. It has 4 elements. So we'll start with the top right, marketing differentiation. So your goal should be to find an attribute or benefit of your product and service that makes it unique in the market. This will then in turn, as you move down the circle, give you more control over pricing, the bottom right, which in turn gives you higher margins, the bottom left, which in turn gives you more money for marketing, allowing you to further differentiate your offering and starting a virtuous cycle. So I want to share an example with you. So if you were Panasonic, how would you differentiate a laptop to compete with Apple or HP or Dell? When Apple owns elegant and simple design, HP owns technically innovative, and Dell owns direct-to-consumer benefits. So Panasonic had to answer this question, and it was not an easy task. So established brands already owned the attributes the customers cared about. So if you were Panasonic, what would you do? All of the obvious market positions are already taken. If they had tried to compete on price, if they had tried to compete directly with any of the incumbents, the only weapon would have been a lower price, which would have led to lower margins. And they may have picked up some price sensitive customers along the way. But as soon as one of the big incumbents matched their price, Panasonic would have been nudged out of the market. So Panasonic assessed 2 marketing attributes to find the right position for them. So they asked themselves 2 questions in order to identify a marketing positions. What do customers care about? And how differentiating would that benefit be if we offered it? So most laptop buyers cared about the things that Apple, Dell, and HP were offering. So, Apple was offering simple and elegant. Dell was offering direct, and HP owned or differentiated on innovative. But there was a segment of the market that cared about something different. Police force and military customers cared about how tough their laptop was. They wanted something that could stand up to the rigors of inside a squad car. So Panasonic launched something called the Toughbook brand. And they made the toughest laptop on the market. This gave them the unique position in the market, so marketing differentiation, which gave them price control, which gave them higher margins, which ultimately generated more money for marketing their unique benefits, cementing the Toughbook as the choice for people who operate in rough and tumble environments. So the virtuous cycle is complete. So again, I'm going to ask you guys to reflect, and if you look at this graph, to look at what products or services you offer and the extent to which they make you different and how much your customers care. So the attribute at the top right-hand side of the page is the product and service that offers the best opportunity to differentiate. So if you market more than one product or service, plot all of the marketing messages you use to market that offering on the X and the Y axis. I hope this makes sense and is clear. Okay, so I'm going to show you a case study now where this was applied to a business. So one of the entrepreneurs we coach is Ultra Foods. If I can just get this moving. Okay, there we are. Okay. So one of the entrepreneurs we coach is Ultra Foods. And they run a successful dairy products manufacturing company. So Ultra Foods serves the wholesalers with dairy products, and they have one of their and what happened is they had one of their bigger customers put out to tender their contract with them. So one of the biggest conglomerates in the market came to tender and lowballed them with prices just to get this contract. And this was a huge source of concern as they were given only a couple of months notice and then they would lose the contract. So they spent some time in their coaching sessions refining their strategic differentiator, which for that segment of the market that they were targeting centered around delivering within 24 hours of their production. So the customer had a big meeting with all the buyers in different outlets, instructing them to buy from this new conglomerate at the end of the month. However, when the end of the month came, the orders still kept coming to Ultra Foods and they kept delivering. And after a while, the customer called the buyers and insisted that they should change their supplier to the conglomerate who had won the tender. So all the buyers refused and revolted, saying that Ultra Foods delivered their stock on the same day of order on the next day, which was important for them as their products were perishable. So they also didn't have to hold stock for too long, while the competitors would take a week before they delivered, as they were a huge conglomerate that was not geared to service this market. So this resulted in the tender being reversed and Ultrafood keeping their client. And this is testament to the value of carving out your strategy in the market and help you to defend your position successfully. So there are 2 points that I want to bring out from this case study. The first point is actually working on your differentiating proposition. It positions you differently in the marketplace, allowing you to fortify your advantage with the customer segment you choose. The second point is to really back up your marketing and selling with this differentiating proposition once you have it figured out. You have invested a lot of time and energy figuring it out, and the next step is to back it up with marketing material and get it out there. Ensure that it comes out in your selling and does not remain just an internal thought, resulting in you going back and competing on price. Because this is what happens sometimes when we very fixated on price as driving growth and volume through price.